Hello everyone, and welcome back to Cooking with Miss Green. Today I have a specially healthy meal for you all to cook for Sunday dinner, for your kids, your family, your significant other, or just yourself. So today we are going to be making spaghetti squash. I've already went ahead and cut mine in half, and we are making it just like we make our traditional spaghetti, except instead of noodles, we're going to be using the spaghetti squash as an alternative to our carbs. For today's meal, we'll need whatever jar of marinara. If you make your own, awesome. If you don't make your own, you can use a can of crushed tomatoes. Add all your seasonings, your Italian seasoning, onion powder, garlic powder, salt, pepper, and a little bit of crushed red pepper. You will also need a half a diced onion. Sorry, this recipe is for 2. So if you're doing it for 4, go up to a whole diced onion. You'll need diced peppers. The dicing is going to depend on whether you like it to be finely diced or if you like it to be chunky. I like it in between, so mine are about that size. Okay, a little bit of brown sugar. That's my secret ingredient. And freshly minced garlic. Oh, and olive oil. It is up to you if you want to use mozzarella cheese or not. Again, this is going to be a meatless recipe. I will show you my meat alternative. And then we also have some garlic breadsticks from Giant Eagle. Get whatever kind you like, okay? And last but not least, as I mentioned, this will be meatless. So as my alternative, I will be using Beyond sausage links that I would just crumble up into my ground sausage for my spaghetti squash. This is going to be an amazing recipe for you all, so I'm so excited for you all to try it out. So first things first, we are going to set our vegetables in some apple cider vinegar and water for about 15 minutes so they can clean. While they are cleaning, we're going to set our oven to 415 degrees. Yes, it needs to be high because our spaghetti squash needs to cook for 45 minutes to an hour. Okay, so my vegetables have been cleaned. My oven is already ready to go. So we're just going to go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're going to do is cut our spaghetti squash in half. Once we have it cut in half, we're going to just scrape out the unwanted insides. Sorry, not all of it though. So just scrape out like where the seeds are, because you don't want to get rid of your noodles. Okay, so just scrape that out. So you're gonna go from this to this, okay? The noodles is layered in a circle in here. So once it cooks, it's really cool how it just flakes off. All right. Now we are going to drizzle the tops with olive oil. I'm gonna put a little bit, 'cause I'm gonna spread it around. Now you can spread the oil with your hands if you want. I kind of like to just go in with my little brush. Make sure that whole top part is covered. Do that to both of them. Then we're going to season them with salt and pepper. Now don't worry too much about the seasoning in this stage because we are going to give it a little bit more seasoning once it comes out of the oven. But this will give it all the flavor it needs. We're now going to flip them over and put them in the oven for 45 minutes. Now that our squash is in the oven, we are going to begin making our sauce so that it can marinate and get all delicious and good for us while we're waiting for our squash to finish. So first things first, we're going to turn our skillet on to medium heat. You don't want it too high, you don't want to scorch your sauce. So you want it just perfect. So we're going on medium heat. While it's warming, I'm going to go ahead and begin cutting our sausages. Now, because I'm only cooking for 2, I'm only going to use 3 of these. Okay. So I actually ended up using 2 instead of 3 because I think that's enough sausage for our dinner tonight. Our skillet is hot. We're gonna go ahead and drizzle a little bit of olive oil. Maybe about a tablespoon and a half. Drizzle that, let that get hot. We're going to follow that up with our onions, chopped and diced fine as you want them. If you want yours chunky, make them bigger. If you want yours fine, make them smaller. Then our green peppers. And because this sausage needs as much time as the vegetables are going to cook, I'm going to put them in now. I'm also going to go ahead and add some seasoning. So this is a little bit of garlic powder, tad bit of onion powder, and I'm only putting a little bit. I'm going to add that later. I'm only putting a little bit now because I'm going to add more seasoning once the sauce comes in. I know those pre-made sauces come seasoned, however, I like seasoning, so I'm putting more seasoning in. And we're just going to let that cook for about 5 minutes while turning it every 45 seconds, maybe to a minute. So our sausage is just about ready. So we are going to go ahead and add in half of our garlic because we're going to add the other half in when we add our sauce in about 3 minutes. We are now going to add our sauce. Our sausage is ready. I definitely cook my Beyond sausage way longer than they call for on the box. So this cooked for about 10 minutes, maybe 12. Now we're just gonna add our sauce we made. I'm not gonna add too much. Again, I'm only cooking for 2. And with spaghetti squash, you don't want it to get too saucy because you're going to pour it into the bowls, the actual spaghetti squash itself, and eat it right out of there. So you do not want it to be spilling over, but no big deal if it does. I'm going to add a little bit more of all the seasonings again. So adding in some more garlic powder, some more onion powder, a sprinkle of crushed red pepper. It really depends on who you are for how much of that you put in there. I don't like spiciness, but since I'm adding in the brown sugar, it's like a sweet and spicy. So go ahead and throw all that brown sugar in there, a little bit more pepper, a lot more Italian seasoning, and we're going to stir it up. Now our spaghetti squash has about 30 more minutes to cook. In the meantime, I'm going to prepare my breadsticks by following the box instructions. There are plenty of recipes online for making breadsticks at home. However, I didn't have enough time, so breadsticks from Giant Eagle it is. I'm going to turn my sauce down a little bit. It was on medium high. I'm going to turn it down to low. And I'm only going to make 2, I'll make 4. 4 breadsticks. Okay, our spaghetti squash is complete, and you'll know it when you take it out of the oven. See how soft? It's very hot, but you can just dip your hand into it. So I'm going to flip first one over. It smells absolutely amazing. These are going to go back in the oven. I did go ahead and put our bread in, and I think it has 15 minutes to cook. So now I'm just going to flake it with my fork. And as you flake it, you'll start to get noodles. Okay. Now I'm just going to dump our meat or our meatless sauce in there and mix it all up. I see I missed the seed or so that's okay. Seeds will not harm you. Now I will top them with mozzarella and put it back in the oven. I'm using regular mozzarella cheese, Giant Eagle brand. Daiya is a really good vegan cheese if you don't want to do the dairy. I mean, we're doing all this meatless stuff, these alternatives to be healthy, and then we throw some cheese on there. It's my guilty pleasure tonight, so you can cheat and use mozzarella, dairy mozzarella, or you can go ahead and get you some Daiya mozzarella shreds. It's actually really good. This is just what I had on hand tonight. Top it with a little bit of Italian seasoning. I'm going to put these in the broiler for maybe about 30 seconds and then we'll be eating good. All right, the squash is out of the oven now and it is ready to go. So bon appetit, folks. Look how amazing. Oh my goodness. It smells so good. I want to tip it, but you guys know I spill things if I tip too far. So here it is. Enjoy. And challenge time, so please like, share, and subscribe this page. Comment done for your chance to win a gift card to Dave's Supermarket. Thank you all.